Hello, Wrexham fans. Is everything okay with you? I hope so. Now, listen up. Wrexham are keeping an eye on a player who has already surpassed none other than Luis Suarez and Sergio Busquets in winning performances. Unbelievable, right? Stay with me until the end and I'll tell you everything you need to know about this name that could appear at the racecourse ground. But first, take advantage of this video to subscribe to the channel and leave your like, because here you'll always be up to date with the hottest news about our Red Dragons. Shall we? Before revealing who this player with an impressive resume is, let's take a look at the latest and most important news from Wrexham. Our owners, Ryan and Rob, have already promised that the club will be aggressive in the transfer market this summer. What's more, manager Phil Parkinson will have the right resources at his disposal to put together a truly competitive team to take on the championship with everything he has to offer. And while the squad is being strengthened, there's also news off the pitch. Work has begun on the new cop stand at the racecourse ground. With this expansion, the club could earn up to an extra £10 million per season from VIP revenue alone. That's huge. Now hold on to this. In the most recent episode of the Welcome to Wrexham series, Michael Williamson, one of the club's key figures, made a bold prediction about our youth academy. The academy was recently promoted to Category 3, and Williamson made it clear that this sector will be crucial to the club's future. Here's what he said. The academy will be the pipeline for our future. In 5, 10, or 15 years' time, you'll see players in the national team who have come through our youth program. Isn't that exciting? And speaking of promising youngsters, who better than Max Cleworth, one of the biggest successes of Wrexham's youth academy in recent years, can point out who's coming up big. According to him, two names deserve our attention: Harry Ashfield and Aaron James. Cleworth believes that this duo can start to make their mark as early as next season. Ashfield could even be loaned out to gain experience, and James should continue to develop with the youth and reserve teams. But the potential of both is enormous. And if Williamson's prediction is confirmed, the investment in Collier's Park will have been worth it, and very much so. And since we're talking about a promising future, here's a quick tip. How much do you think Wrexham has made since Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney took over the club? The answer may surprise you, and show how much this project has been growing off the pitch too. When Ryan and Rob bought Wrexham back in 2020, a lot of people were excited about what could happen. But, let's be honest, the first few months didn't exactly go as they'd hoped. Right off the bat, manager Dean Keats was fired after failing to lead the team to the National League playoffs on the last day of the 2020-21 season. But then came the new owner's first full season in 2021-22, and that's when everything started to change. The club began to restructure, brought in Paul Mullen as one of the big signings, and finished that season in second place. Since then, Wrexham has not stopped climbing. They have achieved 3 consecutive promotions, something historic, and the sporting success has brought with it a huge financial impact. To give you an idea, the 2023-24 accounts have been released and show that Wrexham broke a revenue record. Almost £27 million, the highest amount ever recorded by any League Two team in a single season. But that's just the beginning. According to an article published by Bloomberg, the club expects to earn between £30 million and £40 million in its season in League One. And when it reaches the championship, the expectation is even higher: £50 million in revenue, thanks to the increase in broadcasting, sponsorships, and all the visibility brought by the club's famous owners. Want to compare? At the beginning, in Ryan and Rob's first full season, revenue was just £6 million, according to The Athletic. In other words, in 2025-26, if this figure is confirmed, it will represent a jump of more than 733% in just a few years. Impressive, right? Now, of course, with this growth also comes responsibility. As Wrexham will now play in the championship, the club must comply with the Profit and Sustainability Rules, known as PSR. These rules allow second division clubs to lose up to £41 million in total over 3 years. In 2023 and 24, Wrexham recorded a loss of £2.7 million, well below the £5.1 million of the previous year, which, by the way, will no longer be included in the account after 25/26. In other words, the club still has room to invest, but it will need to keep an eye on these numbers from now on to continue growing without exceeding the regulation limit. And while we're on the subject of growth and ambitions in the championship, the next piece of news shows that Wrexham are looking at both the present and the future. And they have a young signing in their sights, a real talent who could make history if he wears the Red Dragons shirt. Would you rather Wrexham sign experienced players or invest in promising youngsters? This is the hot topic of discussion at the moment, because since Phil Parkinson took over, the strategy has been clear. Bring in more experienced players with footballing experience. And that could continue now in this transfer window. Several names over 30 have already been linked with the club, including Ben Davies, who is set to leave Tottenham, and also Aaron Cresswell from West Ham. Another name that has been speculated? Danny Ings, also from West Ham, who could be another important player in the squad. But now for the surprise. Wrexham could also be targeting a much younger player than usual. According to recent reports, the club is keeping an eye on Shay Reid, a 16-year-old sensation who plays for Cliftonville in Northern Ireland. But look, Wrexham are not the only ones keeping an eye on him. Preston North End, who are also in the Championship, are monitoring the youngster, as are Aberdeen in Scotland. And here's the thing, Reid has already had trials with the mighty Celtic. He is a centre-forward by trade, the kind that breathes goals, and has even been called up to the Northern Ireland under-16 team. And if Reid does come and make his debut for Wrexham next season, he could go straight into the club's EFL history books. But do you know who was the youngest player to wear the Wrexham shirt in an official competition? Let's look at the numbers. According to Transfermarkt, the youngest player to ever play for the club was Cian Williams, who played in the Challenge Cup at just 16 years, 4 months and 27 days. The youngest player to make his EFL debut for Wrexham was Craig Morgan, aged 16 years, 9 months and 21 days, back in 2003-04, in a 5-0 win over Cambridge United. And among the more recent names, Max Cleworth stands out, who made his debut aged 17 years and 29 days and is now one of the club's greatest talents. And to top it all off, the latest news in the video involves a potential signing who has already done something few can. He decided a game against Inter Miami, a team with stars like Luis Suarez, Busquets, and Jordi Alba. Yes, we're talking about Sunusi Ibrahim, and Wrexham is keeping an eye on him. Have you ever imagined seeing a striker at Wrexham who has already surpassed some of the most famous names in world football on the pitch? That's right, his name is Sunusi Ibrahim, a striker for CF Montreal in the MLS, and he's on the Red Dragons' radar. In October 2024, he scored the winning goal in a 3-2 victory over Inter Miami, a team full of stars. It's true that Messi didn't play in that match, but Suarez, Busquets, and Jordi Alba were on the pitch, and even so, it was Ibrahim who shone, with a great left-footed goal in the final minutes. A performance like that doesn't go unnoticed, and it seems that Wrexham have taken notice. But look, despite this brilliant moment, his situation at Montreal is not the best right now. Sunusi has been out of the club's plans this season and has only made 7 appearances so far, without scoring or providing any assists. It's a tough time, but that's exactly why Wrexham could have a good chance here. The Nigerian striker is only 22 years old and has already been praised by none other than Nottingham Forest's Taiwo Awoniyi, who predicted a promising future for him on the international stage. Now, with CF Montreal apparently losing patience with the youngster, Wrexham could try to sign him for around £370,000, an affordable fee, considering the potential involved. If successful, it could be a masterstroke by the board and another valuable piece for Phil Parkinson's squad in the Championship. So, fans, do you think Wrexham should bet on this Nigerian talent? Is it worth taking a chance on Sunusi Ibrahim, even with Montreal's poor form? Or should the club focus on more established players? Comment below, I'd love to hear your opinion. And if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because here you won't miss anything about Wrexham, on and off the field. See you next time.